Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about something you've probably seen a million times, maybe even tried to get rid of from your lawn. I'm talking about the humble dandelion. But what if I told you that this so-called weed is actually one of the most misunderstood and valuable plants on the planet? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just look at that little yellow flower in a completely different way. So, let's rewind the clock. Way back, long before pristine green lawns were a suburban obsession, dandelions were a celebrated part of daily life. For ancient civilizations in Europe and Asia, these weren't weeds. They were a vital food source and a powerful medicine. The ancient Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans all used dandelions for their healing properties. They weren't just picking them, they were cultivating them. In China, dandelions have been used in traditional medicine for over 1,000 years to treat everything from digestive issues to inflammation. It is fascinating to think that a plant we actively try to kill today was once intentionally grown and cherished. What made them so special? Well, for starters, they're an absolute nutritional powerhouse. Every single part of the dandelion is edible, from the sunny yellow flower to the deep-reaching taproot. The leaves, often called dandelion greens, are packed with vitamins and minerals. Get this. Ounce for ounce, dandelion greens have more vitamin A than spinach, more vitamin C than oranges, and are loaded with iron, calcium, and potassium. They're basically a free, naturally growing superfood popping up in your backyard. People would add the young, tender leaves to salads for a slightly bitter, peppery kick, much like arugula. The older, more bitter leaves could be cooked down like spinach or kale, mellowing out their flavor. And it didn't stop with the leaves. The flowers are edible too. People would batter and fry them to make delicious fritters, or use them to make dandelion wine, a sweet, floral beverage that's been a countryside tradition for centuries. Imagine a warm summer evening, sipping on wine made from the flowers in your own garden. Even the roots had a purpose. When roasted and ground, the dandelion root makes a surprisingly robust and tasty coffee substitute, one that's naturally caffeine-free. During times of scarcity, like during the World Wars, dandelion coffee became a popular and resourceful alternative. So, you had your salad, your main course, your wine, and your coffee, all from a single plant. Incredible, right? Beyond the kitchen, the dandelion was a cornerstone of the folk medicine cabinet. It was known as a powerful diuretic, which is actually how it got its name. The French called it pissenlit, which literally translates to wet the bed. While that might sound a bit crude, it points to the plant's effectiveness in helping the body flush out excess water and toxins, supporting kidney and liver health. The root was particularly prized for its ability to stimulate digestion and support liver function, while the milky white sap from the stem was often applied topically to warts and skin irritations. This wasn't just old wives' tales. Modern science is beginning to confirm many of these traditional uses, studying the anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties of dandelion extracts. So, where did it all go wrong? How did this celebrated superfood and healer become public enemy number one of the perfect lawn? The story of the dandelion's fall from grace is really the story of the rise of the suburban lawn. After World War II, there was a major shift in how we viewed our outdoor spaces. The ideal became a uniform, manicured carpet of green grass, a status symbol. This aesthetic had no place for a cheerful yellow flower that dared to be different. The dandelion, with its deep taproot and resilient nature, was a formidable opponent to this vision of uniformity. Then came the chemical industry. The post-war boom saw the development of broadleaf herbicides, chemical cocktails specifically designed to kill any plant that wasn't grass. Marketing campaigns were launched, painting dandelions and other weeds as an invasion, an unsightly blight on your property that needed to be eradicated. Suddenly, having dandelions meant your lawn was messy. You weren't keeping up. You were failing the suburban ideal. The message was clear. A good lawn is a dandelion-free lawn. And we bought it. We spent billions of dollars on chemicals to poison a plant that our ancestors had spent centuries cultivating for food and medicine. The irony is staggering. Think about the resources we pour into this fight. We water, we fertilize, we mow, and then we spray poisons all over our yards to kill a plant that is more nutritious than most of the vegetables we buy from the grocery store. A plant that bees and other pollinators absolutely love, especially in early spring when other flowers haven't bloomed yet. Dandelions are one of the first and most important food sources for our vital pollinator populations. By eliminating them, we're not just creating sterile green deserts in our neighborhoods, We're actively harming the ecosystems we depend on. But I have good news. The tide is starting to turn. More and more people are waking up to the absurdity of this war on dandelions. Foragers, herbalists, chefs, and eco-conscious gardeners are leading a dandelion revival. People are starting to see the little yellow flowers pop up and think free salad greens instead of time to spray. Farmers markets are selling dandelion greens right next to kale and spinach. High-end restaurants are featuring dandelions on their menus, celebrating their unique earthy flavor. We are rediscovering the wisdom of our ancestors and realizing that true abundance might not be a flawless green lawn, but a yard teeming with life, including this incredibly generous and resilient plant. So, what can you do? Maybe start small. The next time you see a dandelion, don't just pull it. Look at it. Appreciate its tenacity. If you have a chemical-free lawn, consider harvesting a few young leaves for a salad. Make sure you're identifying them correctly and sourcing them from a clean, unsprayed area, of course. Maybe you could let a small patch of your yard go wild and see what happens. You might be surprised by the beauty and life that emerges when we stop fighting nature and start working with it. The story of the dandelion is a powerful lesson. It teaches us about history, about nutrition, about marketing, and about our own relationship with the natural world. It challenges us to question the standards of beauty we've been sold and to look for value in unexpected places. This humble weed is a symbol of resilience, a provider of free food and medicine, and a helper to our struggling pollinators. It's been here for us all along, just waiting for us to remember. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the world of the dandelion. I hope it's given you some food for thought, and maybe even some food for your table. What are your thoughts on dandelions? Do you eat them? Do you let them grow? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content just like this. See you in the next one.